Here in this session we will discuss about the postfix expression evaluation. So here they will give an array which has a postfix expression and that we have to evaluate it. For example, consider the array containing the postfix expression that is 2, 3, 1 star plus 9 and minus. So when we evaluate this, we will get the answer as minus 4. So how it will be minus 4? Because if we express this postfix expression in the form of infix expression, it looks like this. That is 2 plus bracket 3 into 1 bracket close minus 9. So when I go for evaluating this, the higher precedence will be given to the bracket. So in bracket there is 3 into 1, that is 3. The next the next precedence will be given to plus. So 2 plus this 3 will become what? 5. So that 5 minus 9 is what? Minus 4. That is why the answer is minus 4. Now let us take another postfix expression, that is 2, 3 raised to 1 plus. That means we will get, when we evaluate this postfix expression, we get the answer as 9 here. That is, if we convert this postfix expression which is in this array into infix expression, it looks like this, that is 2 raised to 3 plus 1. Since this raised to notation has a higher precedence than plus, we will first calculate 2 raised to 3, that is 8. Then we will write plus 1, that is equals to 8, means 8 plus 1 equals to 9. So here the basic idea is to what? Whenever there are two operands followed by where, if there is an operator, then how we have to iterate it? We have to iterate from left to right, and whenever there occur an operand, we push that operand into the stack. And whenever we encounter an operator, we will pop two elements which are at the top of the stack, and using that operator we will evaluate it, and then we will push the result into the stack again. For example, here we see 2 is an operand, so we will push it into stack. And then you see here 3 is also an operand, so we will push it into stack. Then there is 1, so it is an operand, so again we will push it into stack. Next we will encounter, that is star, which is an operator. So since we encountered with an operator, so we will pop the top two elements of the stack. Here the top two elements are what? 1 and 3. So we will pop them 1 and 3, and using this multiplication operator I will multiply 1 and 3, that I will get the result as what? 3. So then I will push that 3 again back into the stack. So right now the top of the stack contains 3 and its next element is 2. Now we will encounter a plus operator. Since it is a plus is an operator, we have to pop two elements from the stack and add them. So the two elements from the stacks are what? 3 and 2. So I will add 3 and 2, it will become what? 5. So the result I will push back into the stack. So the next thing we encounter is an operand which is 9. So that is why I will push it into stack. So now stack contains what? 9 and 5, where 9 is at the top of the stack. And after this we encounter that is minus operator. Since we encounter the minus operator, so I have to again pop two elements from the stack, that are 5 and 9, and I have to um, subtract 9 from 5. So it will become 5 minus 9. So the result is minus 4. That minus 4 again I will push that into the stack. So this is how this evaluation of postfix expression will takes place using what stack here. So now we will see the C program to evaluate this postfix expression. So first I will write hash include stdio.h. Then I will include stdlib.h. So hash include stdlib.h, hash include ctype.h, hash include math.h, hash include string.h, hash include stdbool.h, and hash include limits.h. And here after writing all these, then I will define the maximum value, that is 100. That means maximum value is going to be 100, or max value is 100. Now I will create a stack, and in that stack I will declare a variable that is int, and that variable is what? Top. So why I write this top? Because top will always point to the top element of the stack. So to point that I need the variable that is top. Next I will create an array which is of size max. So max value is what? We saw that the max value as 100. So array of 100, that means we can push 100 elements into the stack, or we can store 100 elements into the stack. And now we will go for the push operation. So in this push I will give the uh, stack star s and int value as the operators to this push operation. So once I give this, then what this push operation will do, first it will check whether the stack top is equals to maximum minus 1. That means max means what? 100. 100 minus 1 means 99. So because the index always start with 0, and since maximum size is 100, so since we take it from 0, it will be up to 99. So if this top points to 99, that means stack is full. So it will print stack overflow, and then it will return. Otherwise, then what it will do, if the stack is not full, then it has to push the value into the stack. So that is why what it will do, it will increment the top of the stack by 1. Okay. So then it will point to array of that top value. Then in that index the value will be stored. Okay, that is the meaning of this line. So now that value is stored, assigned to what here? Array of plus plus implies top. So first it will be incremented, and at that point of top I will store the value. Okay. So this is how the push operation will takes place. So this will continue up to what here? The number of elements that I push into the stack. Then how to pop the elements from the stack? So we will write a function called as pop, which is of type integer. And here I will give stack as the what here input to this pop operation, so that it will remove the or pop the elements from the stack. So before we know that before popping any element from the stack, first we have to check whether top is or stack is empty. So to check whether the stack is empty, I will write this that is line. If stack implies top is equals to -1 means if the top is pointing to -1 in the stack, that means there are no elements in the stack or the stack is empty. In that case, it will print stack underflow. It will print what? Stack underflow. And then it return int min. Otherwise, that means if top is not pointing to -1 means what? There are elements in the stack. Then it will go for removing those elements from the stack. Then what it will do? First, it will decrement the top of the stack. That is why S implies top minus minus. So then it will become what? Array of S implies stack minus minus. So it will decrement. So then it will remove remove the element from that place, and then it will return what here? Yes. Okay. So this is how it will remove an element from the stack. So this is about push and pop from the stack. How we are going to push and how we are going to pop elements from the stack. Now we have to check because we are going to evaluate an postfix expression. So that is why we have to check whether the token is operator or not. So if we encounter with an operator, then what we will do? As I already said, we will pop top two operands from the stack, and we will make what we will evaluate those two operand according to the what operator we have encountered. So we will use an function called as is operator, which is of type bool, and we will check, we will give that this token is nothing but what it is an operator. So it will check whether this token is operator or not. Okay. So it will come here, it will return, it will compare this string with what? Plus. And if it is a plus, if the token is plus, then means the value is equals to 0. So it will compare this token with what here? Plus. If both are plus, then that means the value is equals to 0. Then it will compare minus and the token. If the token is minus, then this value will be equals to 0. That means we have encountered with what here? 0. Then again we will compare the token with star, and if they are same, that means, or if it is equals to, if we get the value as 0 when we compare this token and star, that means the token we have encountered is what? Star. The same way we will compare uh, token and division operator, and it will be both will be compared, and if the value you will going to get is 0, that means the token is a division operator. The same way we will use the string compare function to compare the token with what here? Raised to operation. So when this string compare this token with this raised to operator, and if it gives the return, if it gives the value as 0, that means the token is what? Raised to operator. So this is how we will check whether which operator we have encountered, whether it is plus, minus, multiplication, division, or raised to operator. Then we will evaluate the postfix expression. So the function to evaluate this postfix expression is what? Evaluate postfix, and it is of type what? Int. And here we will give array and the number of elements in that array as input to the what here evaluate postfix this one, that is function. Now stack s is equals to what here? -1. So initially we will just assume that it contains the value that is -1. So next we will write for int I equals to 0, I less than I plus plus. So for I equals to 0. So if is a digit of array of I value is what? 0. So if array of 0, 0, if it is what here? Digit, okay, that it will check whether the operand, whether it is an operand. That means is a digit means what? I value is 0 and there is already 0 here. So, and if array of 0, 0 is a digit, or if string length of array of 0 is greater than 1. Okay, if the string length is greater than 1 and array of 0 I is what? 0. So array of 0, 0 is equals to what? Minus. Okay. If it is minus, then what we will do? We are going to push it into the stack. So before pushing that into the stack, it will convert it from ASCII value to what here? Integer. So that is why we will write A to I. That means ASCII value to integer. So it will be array of I value will be converted from ASCII value to what here? Integer. And that integer we will push on to the address of the stack, and S means address of the stack. We will push it. So this happens when we encounter an operand. Otherwise, it must be what here? The operator. Okay. So that is why we will write else if is operator. Okay. Whatever that we have encountered at the array of I, if it is an operator, then what we will do? We will pop the top two elements from the address of the stack. Okay. So pop and s, and we will assign it to value 1. And next element also will pop from the address of the stack, and I will assign it to value 2. So that means if it is an operator, then what we are doing here? We are popping top two elements from the stack and assigning them to value 1 and value 2 respectively. Then we will check the what here, whether it is, then we will compare whether the array of I is plus, I already told it will compare whether it is plus, or whether if it is plus, okay. So if it is equals to 0, then it will push this value by adding those values. Okay. So it will add value 1 and value 2, and then it will push it back into the array because it is plus. So it has added value 2 and value 1, and again it pushed it into the stack. Else if the token is -1, it is equals to 0 means if it is -1, then it will calculate what here? Value 1 minus value 2, and then it will push that resulting value into the stack. That means minus will take place. Or I will do what here, if it is division, then value 1 into value 2 will be calculated and then the result will be pushed into the stack. Or if it is multiple division, okay, that means I will compare this array of I with this division. Okay, so if it gives 0 means it is a division operator. So what it will do? It will divide value 1 by value 2 and the resulting value will be pushed into the stack. The same way we will again come to else if statement, and if it is a raised to operator, okay, then it will calculate power of value 2 comma value 1, okay. That means value 2 raised to value 1. It will calculate the power of it and then it will be converted into integer and then it will be pushed on to the stack. Okay. Then we will use the pop operation to pop an element from the top address of the stack. Okay, it will return pop. Then we will write main here. It is character array and it contains the values 2, 3, 1 star plus 9 minus, and I will take the size of the array divided by size of the array of 0. So if I calculate this, I will get the number of elements in the stack, that is n. Then I will print %n. Then I will call the function that is evaluate postfix of r and n. That means it will evaluate the postfix expression in the array and the number of elements in that array. So it will calculate it and then it will return. And when we execute it, we will get the output as what? -4 by taking this as an input. So this is how we are going to evaluate a postfix expression. So I will stop here and in the next class we will discuss the remaining parts of this stack. Thank you.